Coming in at number 7 is the Danchel TSG stove. This is about $350. It's 1,024 cubic inches and it weighs about 90 ounces. Now that is really heavy, and it's a function of all of these brackets, glass, and fixtures that make it really nice and make it well built, but make it very heavy. And in part 1 of this video, we looked at one-person tent stoves, which I believe range between 600 and 800 cubic inches in terms of the firebox. And we even looked at an example of a failed stove from Seek Outside called the Cub that was 15 ounces, super lightweight, but only 324 cubic inches and just too small to really do the job. So in this video, we're looking at stoves like this that range between 900 to 1100 cubic inches. And as I mentioned, this comes in at 1,024 cubic inches. The price per cubic inch on this is 0.34. So at 350 bucks, you're getting solid value at a price per inch or price per cubic inch. But the cubic inch per ounce, as I mentioned, the weight this actually comes in at 11.38, which is terrible because you're carrying more than you need to carry and not reducing your weight. So it does come with piping. It has easy setup, which is really nice for cold hands, but it's also flat. And I know a lot of people prefer a flat stove so they can cook on it, boil water or whatever. But this is some of the weight issues is why this comes in at number 7. Now let's move into the top 6. And again, we're looking at two-person stoves, 900 roughly to 1100 cubic inches. And personally, I think that's really where I would want, if I had one stove, I would want something in this range, and something that really can help dry out clothes and really warm up a tent if you really absolutely need it. And so number 6 is the Winnerwell Fastfold. That is $500. It's 945 cubic inches. It comes in at 46 ounces, so nearly half of what this thing weighs. Its price per cubic inch is terrible. It comes in at 0.53, so you're spending 500 bucks and you're getting 900 cubic inches. So the ratio there is not great. The cubic inch per ounce comes in at 20.54. That's sort of in the middle range. And it does come with piping, sort of like this one does. It is also very easy to set up. The Winnerwell Fastfold, very easy to set up. It's also flat. And so solid option. I know it's something that a lot of folks use out there, but I don't think it's something that I would personally want. I do want to point out that all of the information that I'm sharing and more is located on these spreadsheets for both the one and the two-person stoves. So if you go to Hunt Detail Instagram and click on the link tree in the profile, you can download this spreadsheet and others for your own evaluation purposes. And I will say peax is going to be coming out with their own backcountry stove sometime later this year in the summer. And there's a spot in here where you can punch in all of those specs, all of those details about that peax stove and see how it compares to the rest of these stoves. So please check that out, and I think it'll help you analyze what you might find for yourself. And you can also double check the data that I put into these spreadsheets as well. So number 5 is the Seek Outside large U-turn. This is $345. It's 952 cubic inches, and it's 26 ounces. So if we sort of compare between the Winnerwell and this one is 150 bucks less. You get about the same cubic inches, and it's 20 ounces lighter. So the Seek Outside large U-turn, the price per cubic inch is really good at 0.36. The cubic inch per ounce was actually the tops, because you're getting something that's incredibly lightweight and giving you 952 cubic inches. The only problem I have with the U-turn stoves, and especially as you get into the two-person situation, you have something that's less efficient. The U-turn is essentially a piece of titanium steel that wraps around the back. It doesn't have the corners. It's not like you're putting a box together. You're wrapping a piece of titanium steel around that back, and it's just not efficient. It allows smoke into the tent. It doesn't burn the way you like it to burn potentially. And so when you get into a larger stove, I mean, in a one-person stove, it might not be as big a deal because you have a smaller space, smaller tent. But when you get into these larger spaces, I feel like a U-turn could be at a disadvantage, and it's just not something that I would want. So that's why it came in at number 5. Solid stove, solid option, but not necessarily what I'm looking for. Number 4 is the Seek Outside Large Standard. This is $355, 952 cubic inches, so essentially the same cubic inches, 35 ounces, so you're adding about 9 ounces here, and it's the standard, so it's got the 4 sides here, and the price per cubic inch is 0.37, which is really good. The cubic inch per ounce at 27.2 is a solid ratio, and it's obviously much more efficient, I believe, than a U-turn stove, which gives it a better a position or rank higher than at number 4. Number 3 is the Argali Skyline, and I will say these top 3 are completely interchangeable in my opinion. They all have they're all very similar, I think, in some of their value. They're different, but they're similar in the sense that they all bring value and they all could perform really well. But the Argali Skyline is $435. It's now we're now getting into the 1100. It's 1,147 cubic inches roughly. It's 38 ounces, so a little bit more weight there, but you're getting a lot more cubic inches. The price per cubic inch is 0.38, which is really good. The cubic inch per ounce is 30.28, which is also very good. It has stamped sides, which gives it more rigidity. As you heat up titanium, it tends to warp, and it's not anything that you can't adjust in the field, but the stamp sides give it a little bit more rigidity. I like the fact that you have more cubic inches with this stove. This is someone that I would definitely use. My only concern, and the reason why I have it at number 3, are the legs. They're little fold-out legs, little wire fold-out legs, and I can see a scenario where I'm loading it and those things fold up and just fall, and everything sort of comes apart with the piping and the stove and the chimney, and that thing might be blazing hot. So how do I reset that back up, even though it's blazing, is red hot? And so that could be kind of frustrating, I think, and that's one of my concerns with that stove. Coming in at number 2 is the Seek Outside SXL. This is $369. It's 1,183 cubic inches, so it has the most cubic inches of all of these stoves in this category. It's 40 ounces. Its price per cubic inch is 0.31, which is tops in the category. Its cubic inch per ounce is 29.58, which is also really good. It has, again, the most cubic inches. The legs are the typical sort of screw pegs that sort of stand straight up and straight down, so you're not going to have a situation where it collapses. And so I think all around it's a fantastic option. It's it might even be the option for me because it does have the flat surface. It's easier to set up than a U-turn, and it has a lot of cubic inches, and it's only 40 ounces, which is still less than the Winnerwell, which I discussed at ranking in at number 6. And so now coming in at number 1 is the Lite Outdoors large stove, and this comes in at $210. I mean, really very inexpensive. It's 960 cubic inches in the firebox, which is sort of in the on the higher end, but it's certainly not 1100. It's 28 ounces, so it's super light. In fact, it's almost the lightest in the category. Price per cubic inch is tops at 0.22. Cubic inch per ounce is number 2 in the category at 34.9, I believe. And so if you compare the Lite Outdoors large to the Seek large standard, they have almost the same cubic inches. It's quite a bit lighter at 28 ounces versus 35 ounces, and it's much less expensive. So the only drawback to the Lite Outdoors is that they are cylinder, they're round, and so it's not a situation where you can easily put things on this top of the stove and cook it or boil or what have you. It's I do know some people still use that stove in that capacity where they can set something on top of it and keep something warm, but it's not perfectly flat. So that can be a drawback if that's something that's important to you. But anyways, I hope you found this helpful. Again, the peax stove will be coming out in August, so download this spreadsheet. When it comes out, you can punch in that data and evaluate the peax as compared to these other ones in the category in a very objective fashion. And just go to Hunt Detailed on Instagram, click on the link in the profile, follow Hunt Detail on Instagram. You can download this spreadsheet. There's a ton of other spreadsheets. Thank you all for your time, support. Please like, share, and subscribe, and best of luck this season.